We doing this, David?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's in the box.
What's in the box?
I actually don't know what's in the box. There's a sponsored unboxing from VRLA, which I have never heard of before now. This is my first time ever hearing of them. And inside here is what they call the Centaur PC. I don't know what kind of PC it is, but I know it's got some bubble wrap. It's got some spare parts, some EVGA stuff, so there's a graphics card in there. Ooh, goodies. So they make servers and workstations. I thought this was gonna be yet another gaming computer. All right, what is this thing? Got a power cable. I don't know if I have enough clearance for this box to come off. Good luck, everybody. Ah. Oh, hey. Got it. Please remove packing material from inside the computer before use. That's a good strategy. Ow, oh, I just about punched myself in the face. That was so close, the plastic like whipped me right under the eye. I was wrong, by the way. This is a gaming PC, so they were founded in 2016 doing like workstations for VFX and like, you know, Hollywood and that shiz, hence the, you know, LA based location. And then last year, they branched into gaming systems. So we got a tempered glass side panel on this puppy. Oh, and that would be quite the gaming system that we've got ourselves in here. They managed to get an RTX 3080.
Wow.
Okay, all right, maybe these guys are legit then. You know, I'm actually pretty impressed right off the bat. They haven't made any critical mistakes that jump out to me. Like, you might see someone who's not that experienced with gaming machines, you know, misconfigure the airflow for the system. So in this case, we've got 3 120 millimeters in the front, 2 in the top, 1 in the back. So they're clearly going for kind of like a balance between intake and exhaust, which has been shown time and time again is, well, the correct way to go about it. In terms of cable management, man, it's hard to find flaw with any of this. It's pretty freaking clean to the point where we're gonna have to take the back panel off and see if we can find any problems. That's not bad. Everything is neatly tucked away, but also not to the point where I look at it and I go, yeah, obviously they knew who they were sending it to, so they went and, you know, put you know, special fancy cable ties and spritzed some, you know, new car smell in it or anything like that. It just smells like a normal computer, but everything's out of the way of the fans, and we basically can't see the cables through the windowed side panel. See that? Can you see me though?
Yeah.
Hi, David.
Hi.
How's it going?
So good.
In terms of spec, they've gone with a 750 watt B5 series power supply from EVGA. I actually don't know what kind of CPU is in there, but we've got 32 gigs of RAM from G-Skill. Let's see, 3200 CL16. So I would say reasonable, high end. So without overspending on anything, this is a very potent, basically top of the line gaming machine. The one question I have is with respect to thermals. So they've chosen a case that does have 3 120 millimeter fans in the front, but also has a tempered glass front panel. Now this is a lot better than one we checked out recently over on Linus Tech Tips that had almost no space along the side for intake and had these front fans getting suffocated, but I'll be interested to see what kind of thermals we get when we fire this puppy up. Interestingly, they've configured the fans to run at very different RPMs. The front ones they're ripping. And these top ones, they're barely spinning. We are on the desktop. In terms of bloat, there's pretty much nothing. GeForce Experience, which I would install anyway. RGB Fusion, which is Gigabyte's RGB controller software, which I'm gonna fire up and see if I can figure out how to light this puppy up. And then Microsoft Edge. And yes, I did count Microsoft Edge. That's probably not fair.
Yeah.
That's probably not fair. I'm kidding.
Okay, it's Chromium now.
I'm kidding. I'm just teasing Microsoft. And there's your problem. Oh, it's not too bad. Hey, there we go.
Oh, wow.
Had a connector come loose in shipping, happens to the best of us. Wow, I am actually kind of super into that cooler. That looks not bad at all. And hold on a second. You're definitely right. That's definitely worse. There you go. Yeah. So that is how it is intended to be operated. That looks awesome. They went and they put their logo on there and everything. How's that?
That's pretty good.
All right, looking good?
Yeah.
Oh, the one thing we don't have synced is our poor EVGA graphics card. Well, yeah, rip indeed. I'll live with it. It is time to close up the panel and see how much she cooka-looks. Let's see if what they learned about workstations and servers applies to gaming thermals. I mean, they are very similar principles, but as everyone knows, a principal is not necessarily the same as a teacher. Man, RTX 3080 is one impressive piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got that 100% usage, using up 70% of the GPU in code. And I don't even see any complaints about dropped frames. Got a filter on the top there. Oh, look at that, they put little stickers on so it won't come off during shipping. Need to put one of those on the RGB cable there. I'm just teasing, guys. I know stuff like that happens. It really does create a pain in the butt for customer support when someone calls in about something as trivial as that, though. Some customers might not even realize that half of their RGB isn't working. So it is not a bad idea. Hot glue. Hot glue is, there's a pro tip for you and a half. You can get hot glues that kind of like peel off really easy, but like hold on really nice. We've got a 970 EVO plus 500 gig for our boot drive, a 1 terabyte hard drive spinning storage, so that's your mass storage right there, 2.5 gig LAN, and for CPU, they've gone with a Core i7-10700. That is interesting. It's a good balance, again, between like price to performance ratio, and I wouldn't expect it to be a huge bottleneck for an RTX 3080, but a lot of the time with the more traditional, gaming system companies, you would see them put like a Core i9 top of the line in there, even if they don't expect the customer to overclock, which, let's face it, if you're the kind of person that's buying a pre-built, I would say the odds of you tinkering in the BIOS and overclocking, probably slimmer. The one thing then that I would critique about this configuration is that if I knew I was gonna go with a non-K CPU, I might not go with a Z490 motherboard. Except that, well, they loaded up with PC 3200 megahertz memory, which of course these days you need a Z series chipset for, which is like, it shouldn't be the case, but I guess it is. So there's the rationale there. I guess I talked myself into the motherboard. Kind of looks like it's not gonna. I think we're settling in at a nice, comfortable 75 degrees Celsius. Might get up as high as 76, 77, but given that we're still turboing up to 1530 megahertz, that's looking pretty good. Another good sign is that this particular 750 watt power supply must have been validated by them, because we've run into issues where even a power supply that's rated for the amount of power that an RTX 3080 technically calls for can still run into issues where the overcurrent protection will kick in because of a sudden spike in draw from the RTX 3080, or for that matter, RTX 3090. So far we're not seeing any of those symptoms. Hey, they even have in their talking points, I'm supposed to mention that this is what all the PCs look like, not just mine. So there you go. They actually did go out of their way not to specially build one for me. This is great. Especially in the current market, buying a pre-built is a great choice. Please demonstrate this somehow. I can demonstrate that real easy. You wanna know how? How the hell else are you gonna get an RTX 3080?
Hey!
NVIDIA has a long and proud history of getting the boutique builders and the system integrators way more stock relative to the size of their business than the part sellers get. And I remember this because at NCIX, even though we had a system building division, and I would go to NVIDIA and I'd say, hey, we should probably get system builder allocation, they wouldn't send it to us because I think they assumed we were just gonna send them out as individual cards. I don't get it though, because obviously it was in our best interest to sell a whole system around it, but that was always a point of contention. So I know for a fact that there's extra allocation for system builders, so that's a real easy one right there. As long as it's reasonably priced, I got nothing against a pre-built system, 100%. For lots of people, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's easy for me to say, yeah, I could build this system in, I wouldn't even say half an hour. I'd say cable managing to this level, probably more like an hour. But if you have no idea how to do it, and you have to like look up what parts to get and look up how to put it together and then put it together and then double check that everything's right. I mean, we're talking for just like an average person, it could be a 5-6 hour process. So if you pay yourself like 20 bucks an hour, yeah, it's pretty easy to say, yeah, there's $100 to $150 value in having everything built and warranted by someone who knows what they're doing. All right, you know what? I'm convinced. Very reasonable gaming rig, reasonable part selections. totally happy with the build quality, and of course, the performance speaks for itself, or at least it would if I had remembered to open up the performance metrics. Ha 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 ha! Got him! Oh. I'm gonna keep doing the got him thing forever. I've already got complaints about it, which makes me extremely happy. So there's not much else to say. VRLA, VRLA, I don't really care how you pronounce it, but you can check out their systems at the link down in the video description. And it's not just gaming systems, they've got professional stuff as well, which I think is super, super cool. Maybe next time they'll send a workstation over. By the way, subscribe to Short Circuit.
Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm fine.